Typically when I do street photography, I don't like being stationary and being trapped to a tripod. And of course, you're gonna run into this when you're doing film photography at night. What I wanted to do was find the best point and shoot film camera that I could find and still be mobile. And so I've stumbled upon the Fuji Natura S. Now the Fuji Natura S is like many other autofocus 35mm point and shoot cameras. However, it's got a very special lens on the front. It's got a 24mm f1.9. Now if you're wondering how they could fit this, if you open the back, you'll see that the glass is really close to the film, and I think this is really unique. And this is great engineering to somehow fit this into a tiny point and shoot camera. Now the Fuji Natura S line of cameras was originally only released in the Japanese market, and so if you look on the back of this, you're only going to see the settings in Japanese, but it's really easy to learn and remember what the settings are. Now the top row is going to be your flash, which unfortunately resets every time to auto every time you turn off and turn on the camera, but it's pretty easy to change that setting. The second row is going to be your self timer. The third option is going to be your autofocus, or you can set this to infinity, which is going to be represented by a mountain symbol. And the bottom is going to be your data imprint into your photos. Now I really don't like this, so I always keep this set off, and luckily the camera remembers that setting. Now the Fuji Natura S is a super lightweight point and shoot camera weighing under 200 grams. It has a close focus distancing of 0.4 meters, and it's got a max shutter speed of 1/320th of a second. And of course, it's got DX coding from 50 ISO to 3200. Now the special thing about this camera is that it's meant to be used in tandem with Fuji's now expired Natura 1600 ISO color negative film. And once you put any 1600 ISO film inside this camera, it enters an NP mode, which you'll see on the back. Now what this NP mode is called natural photo mode. Now what it'll do is automatically shut off its flash and opt to open up its aperture to 1.9 for all your photos. So once you're out using this at night, you're going to get some great depth of field, and of course maximizing the amount of light you can get through the lens. So of course I had to take the Natura S and a roll of precious Natura 1600 film out to San Francisco's Chinatown to do some low light street photography. Nice. 36 shots, okay. Nice. We're heading to Chinatown to do some nighttime photography. Chinatown. Heading to Chinatown to do some nighttime photography with the Fuji. Nice, we can park here. Alright, do some Chinatown shooting. You're shooting at 2000? The film only goes up to 1600. It's probably gonna be dark. Are you shooting wide open? Yeah. Oh my god, I'm at 1.9. Alright, first shot. Fortunately, this alley's got construction going on, but usually it's empty. Did I get a shot of you over here? Yeah. Simon's my model. Stand right here. So stand kind of close here, and then turn your body just a little bit. Okay. Now look over my shoulder over there. Oh, that was a dark photo. I wonder if these photos are just going to be awful. Let's hope not. The neon lights. It's probably going to be out of focus, but the lighting looks cool. Hoping the shots look cool because I went through my roll really fast. Well, one shot, so I have 4 shots left, but I've never shot with 1600 ISO film before, so it's like, I feel liberated. It's like, that's the end of my roll. So that was my first time shooting on Natura 1600 and shooting with this point and shoot camera. And I've actually took this around for some daytime shooting too. So you can see a couple more images that I'll put up on the screen. And I was really satisfied with the autofocusing that I got out of this camera and the image quality. And of course, the unique look that I got from the Natura 1600 film. But now I'll come down to some of the downsides of this combination. So I will say that even though this camera can open up to 1.9, in dark situations, you're still not gonna get super crisp images. So of course, there's only so much you could do with a lens that opens up to 1.9 and 1600 ISO film. And so I did get a lot of blurry images, but definitely not as much as I would have gotten if I just used, Cinestill 800T and some point and shoot camera that had a 2.8 lens on it. And in terms of using 1600 ISO film so that this camera enters NP mode, is that you can't really find 1600 ISO color negative film nowadays. And if you want to buy this specific film, Natura 1600, it's going to cost you up to 50 or 60 USD on eBay. So this is a huge investment if you want to combine this and enter NP mode on this camera. And this camera itself is not that cheap. I got this one for about $650 US on eBay. So if you want to get a really beautiful lens that opens up all the way to 1.9, you're gonna have to spend a little bit of money, and especially if you want to use the NP mode, it's gonna cost even more. Now you can still use this camera in tandem with Cinestill 800T and get a crazy exposure in some dark environments that you usually can't get with a regular point and shoot camera. So I'd still recommend this if you want to use this in low light situations, and you can use this as your everyday carry even if you're not doing crazy low light street photography or anything like that. So of course, I did take this around with me for about 2 to 3 weeks just to see what I can get, and I was still really happy, and this is going to be one of my go-to everyday carry film cameras. So thanks for watching, guys. If you like the video, like and subscribe, and I'll leave links to my Twitter and Instagram in the description below if you want to look at some more photos. But thanks for watching. I'll have more videos coming out in the future.